Hi everyone, it's Felicia. In today's video, I'm going to share with you my favorite plants of 2022. At first, I was going to do favorite plant purchases of 2022. At first, I was going to share favorite plant purchases of 2022, but in full transparency, there are quite a few plants that will go nameless that I've purchased, and honestly, they didn't make it to the end of the year. So I admit I am a plant parent. Sometimes some plants just don't make it in my care. Some of them I did actually buy in 2022, and in some of the plants, I've had them over the last few years, and they still continue to be my #1 plant babies. So let's get into it. So in no particular order, I'm going to start with plant #1, which is my Monstera Peru. Now, I actually did get this plant this year in 2022. It was one of my favorites. I've always wanted a Monstera Peru. I've actually gotten a Monstera Peru during a plant swap that I went to in 2021. The clipping, it just wasn't a good clipping, so that plant unfortunately didn't survive. But when I found this baby in Lowe's, had to get it. Love this plant because it's full, it's lush. I've already gotten quite a few new leaves. Now, I did notice, as you can see here, there is a little bit of a browning hole situation going on, but that's the only issue I've seen so far with this plant. Beautiful plant, it's in the Monstera family. And what I like most about it, as most plant parents do, are the little dips in the leaves. So it's just a beautiful plant. I like any plant that has any type of variegation, any type of color, and I just love this one. And I'm just gonna go out and say, hopefully the other plants don't hear me, that this is my #1 favorite plant in my collection, my Monstera Peru. This is so hard to choose, guys. It's like choosing your favorite child, but I'm going to go with next my Hoya rope. So this is the Hoya Carnosa compacta, also known as the Hindu rope, also known as the Hoya rope, also known as one of my favorite plants of 2022. I feel like I've listed this in the past as a favorite, but this is just such a beautiful plant. If you're unfamiliar with this plant, take a look at it. You would assume this was kind of difficult to take care of, right? Wrong. This is one of the easiest care plants, hands down, that I have. All you have to do is just make sure you give it some water, make sure you give it some light, don't overwater it, don't underwater it, but beautiful plant. Now, it's a little heavy because I have it in this heavy ceramic pot. When I first purchased this plant, it did come with a little hanging basket, which I actually still do have. I'm still kind of going back and forth with whether I want to hang this plant or not, but it's just a beautiful plant. So gorgeous. It's never given me any issues. I have had, in the full couple years that I've had it, maybe about 4 to 5 yellow leaves, but that's it. No issues, no pests. Now, I will link a video that I have on how I care for this plant. When I water it, I pretty much just take my nozzle and I spray through each of the leaves. Because it is a curly leaf plant, honestly, it is hard to inspect each and every single one of the leaves. I just don't have that kind of time. So I just take the water nozzle and I spray it through. If you don't have a nozzle with a sprayer, just take the water in full high impact and just douse the water through the leaves. That way you're, ensuring that there aren't any bugs that you can't see. So that's how I care for the plant. One of my favorite plants. It's a very slow grower. I would say that it's a slow grower, but that doesn't mean it doesn't grow at all. This plant absolutely grows. I'll insert a before picture of what it used to look like, and here is the plant today. So beautiful, beautiful plant. Definitely one of my favorites. Next up is my Satin Pothos, also known as the Scindapsus, also known as the Scindapsus exotica, also known as my favorite plant #3. Now, this plant, when I first got it, it was just a little plant here. I think it had maybe 3 or 4 large leaves, and it has since grown quite a bit. It's grown so much so to the point that I actually clipped this plant, and I am propagating half of this. So once that propagation grows some roots, I'll probably just stick it right back into this plant. But this is a single stem plant and it is so beautiful. Look at the leaves. I mean, how could you not like this? Now I do have a second, I'm not sure if you guys can see it here. I'll show it here on the side. I do have a second Scindapsus, but That one, the leaves are much smaller and the variegation on the leaf is a little bit different than this one. But I mainly like this one, honestly, because of the size of the leaf. It is so beautiful. Such a beautiful plant. Another easy to care for plant. You will notice I'm showing you a lot of plants and I'm like, oh, it's such an easy to care for plant. While I do love all of the beautiful exotic plants, I don't have the time to really give those plants the attention that they need to really thrive. So I tend to go for plants that are very easy to care for, beginner friendly types of plants. Those are the types of plants you're also into and you're not a subscriber, definitely subscribe to my channel and we can talk about our easy to care for plants together. Let's move on to the next one. Plant number 4, my Chinese evergreen. I believe this one is the Silver Bay, but here are those beautiful leaves. As you can see, there's a trend, right? All of my favorites have some very special, beautiful leaves to them. When I first bought this plant, I bought this at the Metropolitan Plant and Flower Exchange in West Orange. It was initially a teeny tiny plant, and I also bought this, I believe it was two or three separate plants, and I just potted them up in one pot. Here she is today. Love this plant. When these plants grow large, oh my gosh, they are so beautiful, and I can't wait for this one to grow. I'm really considering getting another one, but I'm really trying to reduce the amount of plants I bring into my home. I'm actually in the process of giving some plants away, but honestly, when I give plants away, I tend to buy new ones. Don't tell my husband, but I can't say much more about this plant. Here's a look at the leaves up close. As you can see, there's a new leaf there sprouting in the center. I have noticed that this one, it does shoot up tons of new growth in the spring, summer, and the growing season. And I have noticed that things kind of slowed down now. It's cooler outside, the temperatures dip down. So far, they've been dipping down into like the 20s. So it's expected for your plants to slow down. So that's exactly what this one is doing. And I just love this plant so much. Definitely one of my favorites. Favorite plant number 4. Plant number 5 is my ZZ plant. I told you guys I'm a basic plant loving girl. I love my ZZ plant. I'm actually going to insert a clip here because right now I am watering the plant. Love my ZZ plant. So this plant is actually 2 ZZs that I potted up into one pot. I've had these ZZ plants now for probably about 3 years. Yeah, about 3 years now. And they started off really tiny. If I can find an old picture of what they looked like, or at least what one of them looked like, I'll insert that photo. But the plant has grown so much, so beautiful, full, lush leaves, full plant pot. And that's exactly what I wanted to accomplish when I decided to take those 2 individual plants and pot it up into one pot. I wanted a full plant, and that's exactly what my ZZ plant is giving me. Hands down, one of my favorite plants. It's still shooting out new leaves in the non-growing season. Love that plant. It would always be one of my favorites. My Neon Pothos. Absolutely love this plant. I keep saying I love this plant, but I truly do love all these plants. They're just so beautiful. So my Neon Pothos, the story behind this plant, my husband got this for me, I believe Christmas of 2020. He ordered it online, and you guys know what was going on in 2020. In addition to the main thing that was going on, that caused a trickle-down effect, and it resulted in extreme delays with shipping. He placed an order, the plant didn't arrive for like a couple of weeks, and when it arrived, it was like DOA, you know? So plant was on its last leg, but I was able to revive it. I've cut this plant, propagated it so many times, and the intent behind that was to propagate it and take those propagations, put it right back into the mother plant. So as you can see, I now have a full lush Neon Pothos. I believe I'm looking to see if I have some propagations on the side. I believe I'm propagating this one. I recently cut it in half. Oh, I think I've already put those clippings back into the plant. So this is my Neon Pothos, fave number, I think I'm on number 6, I think. the Ponytail Palm. Now this Ponytail Palm, this is the first one that I got. I've had 2 Ponytail Palms. Notice I said I had 2, but we're not gonna go into that story unless you guys have questions in the comments. I'll get a chance to see who's really watching my videos, but I love this plant. This is another one that my husband got for me. I got this as a teeny tiny plant. I believe he also got this for me in December 2020. He was just like gifting me plants left and right. But this plant, again, it started off as a small plant, and these are also very slow growers, but this one has grown so much in the past couple of years that I've had it. This one is pretty easy to care for. It does require a lot of light, so I do have some challenges sometimes with this plant because I do live in the Northeast. I live in Jersey. It's very cold here, so I feel like it doesn't get... My daughter's home from school, so I'm gonna have to wrap this up. Unfortunately, I'm not able to give the plant as much light as it requires, especially in the non-growing season. So I do have to supplement light with artificial light. So this is favorite plant number 7. My daughter is home from school. They're playing some type of video in the background and they failed to put it on mute. If you guys have any questions about any of the plants that I've shown, leave them for me in the comments. If not, I will see you in the next one. Bye.
I'm on the cartoon.
So I know.
Bye.
Mommy.
Yes. Hi, baby.
Mommy. You're not even open the door.
Sorry, I'm recording.
What?
Mama.
I did.
All right.